Welcome back, everyone, to another edition of Seahawk Central News, the top source for UNCW's campus news, entertainment, and sports. I'm Janae Randall.
And I'm Sarah Lively, reminding all of our fellow Seahawks that regardless of where you end up over spring break, you can still stay tuned to Seahawk Central News, which is available 24/7 online at tealtv.org.
This week, we will take a look at the Wilmington's rumored soon-to-be minor league baseball team, as well as a look at the Oceana campaign against offshore drilling.
We will also catch you up on sports with Ben Tyson and the rest of the Seahawks sports team, as well as the latest movie reviews with Chris Vickery.
Stay tuned because Seahawk Central News starts right now.
A celebration of life was held on Saturday, March 3rd for Bryce Scott, a UNCW freshman who passed away unexpectedly. His parents, Michael and Janet Scott, welcomed attendance from members of the UNCW community at the service, which was held at the Apex United Methodist Church. Bryce was a member of Tau Kappa Epsilon fraternity, and this past Friday the fraternity held a date auction at the Warwick Center in his honor. All proceeds went to benefit Bryce's family. Teal TV would like to extend our condolences on his passing.
Educators and community leaders across North Carolina are invited to attend UNCW's Emerging Leaders Conference for Educators. The conference, which is organized and sponsored by the Watson School of Education's Outreach Alliance and Dropout Prevention Coalition in conjunction with the North Carolina PTA, is programmed to address improving and promoting family engagement, preparedness, and strategies for outreach to support student success. The conference will be held on Saturday, March 17th from 9 a.m. to 3:30 p.m. in the Education Building Room 162. An array of professional educators will speak during conference workshops that are held.
Spring is in the air, and you can see it everywhere. Students are getting anxious, ready to get out of their seats and enjoy spring break. Rachel Nagel has more with Talk on the Walk, asking students, what are you doing for spring break?
Although we've had the pleasure of a very mild winter, there's no doubt that we're excited for a little time off. I'm out here on Chancellor's Walk to find out what some of us have planned for spring break.
This year for spring break, I'm going to get my wisdom teeth out, so I'm going to be in bed watching movies all week, and I'm so excited.
I'm going home to visit my family in New Hampshire, and I'm so excited.
My friends and I, for spring break, we're going to go camping in the Nanahala Forest in the mountains, so we're all pretty excited.
I'm just going home to Rocky Mount, North Carolina, which is close to Raleigh. It's a small town, and just going to hang out with my friends and family.
This spring break, I'm going to go to Hawaii to swim with dolphins.
This year for spring break, we are going to Boston.
Yay! And over spring break, I'm going to be in Germany, hanging out with my exchange student who lives in Germany, so it's going to be lots of fun.
Whether you're traveling abroad, heading home, or just hanging out in Wilmington, I hope that everybody has a safe and happy spring break. I'm Rachel Nagel for Seahawk Central News, Teal TV.
UNCW recently revealed a new plan for its Economic Center. On Tuesday, February 28th, Chancellor Gary Miller announced at a press conference the university's plans to reorganize the Economic Center as a limited liability corporation. The reorganization was created in an attempt to maintain the center's continued growth and to provide it with more flexibility to support entrepreneurship and innovation in southeastern North Carolina. As part of the center's reconstructing, Jonathan Rowe will become managing director of the LLC. UNCW Chief of Staff Max Allen will serve as executive director, and the center's board will expand to include Allen, UNCW Provost Kathy Barlow, and Cameron School of Business Dean Larry Clark. The reorganization is expected to help further support campus-wide entrepreneurship efforts.
New Hanover County hosted its 17th annual Be a Tourist in Your Own Hometown Day on Sunday, March 4th. Participating area attractions opened their doors to New Hanover County residents free of charge. It was a fun way for residents to learn more about Wilmington as a travel destination and how they could encourage others to visit Wilmington and Carolina beaches. This Residents Appreciation Day featured free admission to a long list of attractions and events, including Airlie Gardens, Bellamy Mansion, Jungle Rapids, Thalian Hall, and many more.
The real-world treasure hunting game, geocaching, is growing to become a hit on UNCW's campus. Seth Wigley has more on how you can join in on all the fun with geocaching.
Geocache, the latest sports craze where students can embark on a real-world treasure hunt. Explore the outdoors as you search for the hidden cache using a GPS.
The Seahawk Adventure Scavenger Hunt is a scavenger hunt that we offer the students at UNCW, so they have the chance to use our GPS devices and search campus for hidden caches that have been established by other users of geocaching.com.
So by cache, like what kind of treasures are we talking?
They're usually just sheets of paper that are hidden. Cache can range from anywhere from like the size of like a pin cap to, you know, a full ammunition box, so like a big metal box about that big.
So we decided to take on an adventure of our own and search for our first geocache.
250. And there's a random big hole in the ground. All right, so we found the spot at exactly 0.0 latitude and still couldn't find it. And so called the help of an expert himself, Joshua Carnes. Joshua, we had our own struggles.
Yeah, we were out here for about 20 minutes, and I tried to help you guys find it, and just can't find it. Yeah. Sometimes you just can't.
Have you ever had an experience like this?
Yeah, it happens every once in a while, but you gotta look for a while, because there's been geocaches where we gave it about 20-30 minutes, and then all of a sudden, as we're about to leave, we find it. So, but I don't think we're gonna have any luck today.
UNCW allows students to join in on this worldwide phenomenon by stopping by the Student Rec Center Annex.
So dash to uncover the next stash and see what treasures await, if you can find it. This is Seth Wigley reporting for Seahawk Central News, Teal TV.
Dr. Lynn Lecce is a professor of psychology. Let's find out a little bit more in this week's Professors in Focus.
An interesting or weird fact, I actually recently became an American citizen. I'm originally a Canadian citizen, and I passed the citizenship exam, which itself is kind of a funny story. Well, I guess I'll say this. I passed the licensing or the citizenship exam, but the person giving me the exam actually did not speak English very well. So it was very difficult to pass the exam because I could not understand them. I had a student ask me if I'd like to marry them, and I took a look. They did report their gender as male, so I thought that was kind of strange, as I said. If it is the summertime, my family and I really do enjoy boating, so we do spend a lot of time out on Masonboro. We try to stay away from the big holidays, but other than that, we do like to be there in the summertime. I spend most of my time in school year, both our school year and the other school year, following my children around who play a wide range of sports, and so you know, soccer, dance camps, and things like that. So that's where I am most of the time in the evenings and weekends. I plan to retire tomorrow, so I am out of here. No, I probably would like to teach for at least another 15 years, maybe a little longer. I've actually been here for 16 years. And you know, I'd certainly like to do at least another 15.
UNCW has partnered with the North Carolina Coastal Federation to create a special documentary. The film Habitats, Heroes, and Hallelujah, Stories of Hope from the North Carolina Coast is a 50-minute video produced by UNCW Media Productions that aims to increase efforts and help save and preserve North Carolina's coastal areas. Its debut screening will be shown at UNCW's Lumina Theater on March 15th at 7 p.m. Video highlights will include some of North Carolina's most famous coastal areas, such as the Outer Banks, the White Oak River, and Bird Island. Both the screening and reception are free and open to the public. However, those planning to attend the reception are asked to pre-register at www.nccoast.org.
It is rumored that Wilmington may be getting a minor league baseball team. Jill Capodanno brings us the story.
What is seen downtown next to the PPD Center now may seem like a pile of dirt, but within the next 2 years, a single-A minor league baseball team may call it home. I talked to Mayor Sappho about what is in the works for this baseball stadium to be built in downtown Wilmington. Let's see what he has to say.
Well, I think it would be wonderful for the community. It would be wonderful for the region. I believe that, we've talked about baseball here for a number of years. A number of teams have come through. We've had a couple that played out at Brooksfield at UNC Wilmington. We've had a number of team owners that have approached the city since I've been mayor and even before I was mayor about possibly bringing a team here to Wilmington. But the number one thing that they always are concerned about is the venue that they would have to play in. University is a nice venue, but there's a lot of particulars at the university that are of concern to theirs. In particular, one, you can't sell beer, which is, of course, a very important component when playing or having baseball games or entertainment. But the other point is that a lot of the teams that are very successful with minor league baseball have a private-public partnership with a municipality, with a county. And so this is something that is kind of like the norm in that process of baseball. I think that it gives people that are visiting our community something else to do besides just go to the beach. The beach is a great attraction. We spend a lot of money in renourishing our beaches, make sure that we have good, clean beaches and big beaches so people can come down here and spend money down here. And of course, then it helps us offset costs from a service perspective, because when we collect that sales tax revenue, it helps us to offset our delivery costs for police and fire and trash and pickups and maintaining our infrastructure. So we think that this would just be another component of tourism that we could use to also attract people down here, that in the evening, which predominantly a lot of these games we've played in the evening, a lot of the families that do come down to our community could have another venue for people to go and visit and take in a ball game, and it would be a great asset for our community.
I'm sure we all hope that a baseball stadium will be built downtown. It'll only increase the town's revenue and attract more tourists during the summer. Not to mention, it'll give families something to look forward to at nighttime. Until next time, I'm Jill Capodanno, Seahawk Central News, TLTV.
Now let's head over to check up with Ben Tyson and see what other sports news is happening this week.
Hello Seahawks, we have got a plethora of sports news and highlights to share with you, so let's do it. On February 22nd, the men's basketball team faced off against Shaka Smart and the most recent CAA team to reach the Final Four of the NCAA tournament, the Rams of VCU. Dave Sorensen reports.
What's up, Seahawks? We're here at Trask Coliseum where the Virginia Commonwealth Rams headed down south to take on your UNCW Seahawks. It was also senior night here at Trask Coliseum where your Seahawks tried to send out Trevor DeLoach and Cam Chambers with one last senior victory. Let's get to the highlights. VCU bringing the ball up court. Rendelman with the steal brings it down and rocks the rim. A little two-man game here. Nate Anderson from downtown. Bang. KK Simmons drives in, kicks it out to Dante Morales for three. Give them all three of these. Adam Smith kicks it in. Keith Rendelman uses offhand to get position, but still knocks down the mid-range jumper. Shaka Smart not happy about the non-foul call getting in the ref's ear. Tanner Milson facing some full-court pressure, kicks it ahead to Keith Rendelman, who finds Freddie Jackson, dishes it low to Dante Morales with a two-handed slam. Tanner Milson with the ball at the top of the key for three, swishes the net. VCU trying to assert themselves early in the second half with great ball movement for three. Trying to set the tone for the second half. Buzz Peterson not happy with his team's defense on that play, giving a little sideline motivation. His team responded well here as DJ Haley of the Rams drives the lane. Cedric Williams with the emphatic block. Keith Rendelman with the earth-shattering pick allows Milson from the corner It's good. Dante Morales drives the lane, dishes it to Rendelman, who rocks the rim. Simmons with the dribble drive, but Javante Reddick blocks it. Great hustle, though. Back down low to Simmons, who puts it in for 2. Milson with the beautiful bounce pass into Rendelman, who gets the hoop and the harm. An old-fashioned three-point play to cut the Rams' lead to 4. Unfortunately, Buzz drew up an inbounds play that did not work, and the Rams stole a victory 63-59.
Your Seahawks gave a valiant effort tonight, but unfortunately came up on the short end of the scoreboard. Keith Rendelman had another double-double, 24 points, also grabbed 10 rebounds in front of a loud, screaming Seahawk crowd. We caught up with Coach Buzz Peterson after the game to talk with him about that and a couple other things.
I'm going to tell you, if you're a student, you're not playing a sport. Think about when you hear a roar and a crowd and all that stuff, how it makes you feel. You feel lighter, you run faster, you jump higher. It means a lot to our student athletes, our basketball team. When the crowd is behind them, the students behind them cheering, that support means a lot to them. Is that one of the reasons they probably play like they did tonight? I bet so. I bet so. So whatever it takes, I mean, we're going to get this thing turned around. We're going to continue to work hard, and we'll eliminate some of those little mistakes, and then we'll be able to compete towards the top end of this league.
The men's swimming team, the Aquahawks, were off to the races again this past weekend as they blew open a close meet and gave UNCW its 11th consecutive CAA conference title. Sophomore Joe Galeen led a trio of Seahawks into top 5 finishes for the 100 freestyle, pushing their first place lead to 64 points to seal the win over second place George Mason. Another young standout freshman, Valtteri Hallinan, also earned all CAA honors with a second place 200 backstroke finish. And senior Brandon Hicks also picked up CAA honors after he placed second in the 200 butterfly. They powered ahead of the competition with a winning time of 2 minutes 57.34 seconds. The Lady Hawks also had a respectable day, finishing 3rd overall behind champion James Madison and runner-up Towson. UNCW also picked up a conference championship in the women's 400 free relay meet behind a record time of 3 minutes 20.81 seconds set by junior Carly Tanner, seniors Maddie Riley, Libby Mayock, and Anna Munger. Munger and Tanner went on to place 2nd and 3rd respectively in the women's 100 free. Ariel Lapid will have a full package on the conference champion swimming team in the next episode of Seahawks Central News. Your UNCW softball team had a busy weekend participating in the Seahawks Classic Tournament, which began on Friday, February 24th. The Gardner-Webb Bulldogs and Fairfield Stags were the first opponents to take Bozeman Field on day 1 of the tournament. Saturday brought Big 12 birds the Kansas Jayhawks into town, where they played a back-to-back against Our Lady Seahawks. Sunday was the final day of play, and the girls played Gardner-Webb for a second time, battling for 3rd place in the Classic. Travis Sullivan covered the weekend slate. Let's see it, Travis.
I'm here at Bozeman Field, where the UNCW softball team is taking part in the Seahawks Classic Tournament. The first action was on Friday, where the Seahawks had a doubleheader. Let's see the highlights.
Daniela Torres would start things off with a nice knock down the left field line, gets herself on base, and brings in a run. Next up, Jordan Critcher knocks one through the middle, right past the glove of the second baseman, and gets herself on base. This time, a line drive to the pitcher leads to the out at home plate. In the next game, we start things off with Ashley Shingleton, who nails one to center field and gets herself a double. The next pitch would go awry. Shingleton takes advantage and steals third. There's a pop-up here, and the catcher would make the play for the out, and they would get the win.
Unfortunately, the Lady Seahawks dropped both games Friday, but they got a chance to get back into action against the Kansas Jayhawks Saturday. There's a doubleheader between the Jayhawks and Seahawks. Let's see what happened.
Early on against Kansas, catcher tries to make a play here, but the error leads to 2 runs for Kansas, giving them the early lead and the early advantage. Next up, the Kansas batter destroys this one out of the park. That leads to a 3-run homer and stretches the lead for the Jayhawks. Jordan Critcher with a nice bunt here, legs it out to first base and gets on, but that was about all the Seahawks had for the day.
The Lady Seahawks were not completely satisfied with their performance Saturday,
but they have a chance to gain third place in the Invitational on Sunday. It's a dreary afternoon, but hopefully they can get things done. Ashley Shingleton with the nice base knock over the hand of the third baseman and moves her other runner up to second. Nice strike by the pitcher Casey Rowland, who had a nice day. This time makes the snag on the line drive. As I said, had a great day, but it just wasn't enough.
Thanks, Travis. The Diamond Hawks have had a busy schedule since their opening series against Ohio. The baseball team lost in Raleigh to NC State 10-0 on February 21st. They then traveled to Oxford, Mississippi to take on SEC stalwart Ole Miss from February 24th through the 26th. The Seahawks lost all three in the series, 0-2 on Friday, 4-6 on Saturday, and 5-10 on Sunday. The next action for the Seahawks was against the St. John's Red Storm at Brooks Field on Leap Day, Wednesday, February 29th. Trey Owings has the highlights.
Anthony Iukamini looking for the base hit, but grounds out into the 6-4-3 double play. However, Kevin Grove would score for the Red Storm to give the Johnnies a one-run lead. Zach Laracella looking for the sacrifice fly, caught out by right fielder Tyler Molinara, who rockets a throw into Matt Campbell, who makes a tag for the 9-2 double play. St. John's would get on the board again, however, with a big strike from Sean O'Hare, as Kevin Grove rounds third for the second of his 2 runs on the day. Grove, back up at the plate again, sends a pop fly down the first base line to the Seahawk dugout. However, it was caught out by Hunter Ridge. Seahawks went on to lose 3-0.
Thanks, Trey. The Seahawks hosted the Hughes Brothers Challenge this past weekend at Brooks Field, welcoming UNC Asheville and North Carolina State into Dubtown. Unfortunately, weather postponed both of Saturday's games until Sunday, but the Seahawks picked up a big win on Friday, beating UNCA 8-1. Tyler McSwain had 10 strikeouts in the victory, tossing 7 scoreless innings for the second time this season and coming up big in clutch situations on the mound. Asheville went 1 for 11 with runners on base and 0 for 11 with runners in scoring position, which, if you're not familiar to the baseball terminology, means they were on second or third base at the time of the at-bat. Thomas Pope was 3 for 4 with 2 doubles. On Sunday, the Bulldogs got the win 7-2. That was followed by an NC State trouncing an 8-3 win for the Wolfpack. Seahawks are at home from March 9th through the 11th, taking on the James Madison Dukes to begin conference play. The women's basketball team faced off against the Towson Tigers at home on Thursday, February 23rd. McLeod Brown was there. He has the highlights.
Good evening, Seahawk Nation. I'm McLeod Brown reporting here at Trask Coliseum, where the UNCW women's basketball team will be facing the Towson Tigers for the second time this season. When these two teams met earlier in the year, UNCW was able to pull out the 15-point victory at Towson. Both squads entered tonight's game with identical 16-10 records, looking for a few late season wins and the extra motivation going into the conference tournament. Let's get to the highlights. Alicia Andrews with a good drive and dish, number 10 Abria Trice, who then finished with an and-one floater in the lane. Trice then her own very nice layup through the cut D. Number 24, Jessica Freeman, then drains the open three-pointer for the Seahawks. That was Jessica Freeman's only three-pointer of the game. Off the nice pass from Carnisha Garrett, number 2 gets her own powerful layup to go. Before the Towson Tigers, number 1, Crystal Parnell drains the open 3 to keep them in the game. Then number 4, Alicia Andrews, driving around the D, gets the fader on the baseline to go. Beautiful dish. After a quick scramble for the ball, number 15, Destiny Shireen, beats the buzzer for the Tigers. Number 4, Alicia Andrews, then passes the ball inside of Carnisha Garrett, who powers her way, gets her own rebound, and puts it back up. Garrett finished with 21 points, tying a career high to go along with 11 rebounds. Freeman then had her own fast break layup, pushing the Seahawks' lead. And once again, KG down low, looking more like Kevin Garnett. Garrett with a turnaround jumper over the Towson defender. The Seahawks were able to defeat the Tigers in a close game, 53-51. UNCW was able to pull out the victory tonight as Carnisha Garrett led the team with 21 points and 11 rebounds. This was a crucial win for the Seahawks as it boosts their standing in the CAA in preparation for the conference tournament. Till the next time, I'm McLeod Brown, Seahawks Central News, TLTV.
Dreaming of a CAA tournament championship, the team heads into this weekend's conference tournament up by 95 in Upper Marlboro, Maryland. As the 5th seed looking to smoke the competition, they take on Georgia State in the first round on Thursday at 2:30 p.m. Pulling off an upset, the 49th ranked UNCW men's tennis team dominated the previously undefeated 33rd ranked Memphis Tigers on February 26th. This marks the 3rd time the Seahawks have proved victorious against a nationally ranked team this year. Costa Blank and Chris Cooprider, who were honored as CAA Men's Tennis Doubles Team of the Week, and the duo of Michael Riley and Sam Williams breezed by their doubles opponents 8-6, 8-5 respectively. In singles competition, the Seahawks championed 4 of the 6 matches. Cooprider's impressive match, in which he steamrolled the Tigers' David O'Hare 6-2, 6-1, was honored with CAA Player of the Week award. In ITA ratings, the CAA Hawks have climbed to number 39. They return to the Birdcage on March 9th, where they will host the Temple Owls. Teeing off the spring slate, the UNCW men's golf team returned to the greens on February 26, hosting the Seahawk Intercollegiate at Landfall Country Club. Ariel Lapid has the story.
Hello Seahawks! Reporting from the Country Club of Landfall at the Jack Nicklaus Golf Course, the UNCW men's golf team hosts the 3rd annual Seahawk Intercollegiate Tournament. Coach Clark's starting 5 of McLeod, Bass, Harris, Sari, and Brewer competed for the Seahawks, while the trio of Nagy, Woodfox, and Zimmerman played individually. A competitive field of 12 schools battled for the title, 6 of which are nationally ranked, with 3 individuals boasting powerhouse rankings completing the field. Here's a beautiful shot by Chattanooga's Stefan Yeager, ranked 10th in the nation. Sophomore Payne McLeod led UNCW, carding a 145 overall, while Thomas Bass placed in the top 20, finishing with an even par 72. Carding a final round total of 286, ECU claimed the tournament by 9 strokes over Wake Forest. In individual play, South Carolina's Wesley Bryan claimed medalist honors with a 7 under 209. The Seahawks placed 5th overall. UNCW returns to the links on March 10th when they travel to compete in the Pinehurst Intercollegiate. Till the next tournament, this is Ariel Lapid with Seahawks Central News, Teal TV.
Great work, Ariel. Well, that's all the time we have for now. Have a great spring break, and don't forget to keep on keeping on.
UNCW students representing the international organization Oceana held an offshore drilling protest last week. Sarah Sinise has more on the story.
This morning, students from Oceana dropped their picket signs and picked up their whiteboards in the Pose for Clean Energy photo petition.
Oceana is an international nonprofit ocean advocacy group. Here in Wilmington, we're promoting clean energy, which is bringing offshore wind turbines to the East Coast. Out here, we're doing a photo petition. The idea is photos speak louder than words, and the petition's for banning offshore drilling and bringing onshore wind to the East Coast. We take the photos here, and then we put them up on Facebook, and then we also send them out to county legislators and stuff, and just show how many photos. I think we have over 500 photos from UNCW now.
I heard about Oceana through Eco Club, and I think it's a really great organization. I think they're doing a lot to get people informed about the way that we could get clean energy here on campus and in the state of North Carolina.
We also have great volunteer opportunities. We're doing art fairs where we're doing origamis, and then we're going to string them up all over campus to remember the April 20th oil disaster that happened 2 years ago.
I'm Sarah Sinise, reporting for Seahawks Central News, Teal TV.
With the Oscars recently held, there's been a lot more buzz about movies and their potential for Academy Awards. Teal TV's Chris Vickery screens movies each episode with critics on campus, and who knows if one of those movies could be up next on the awards list. Let's head over to Chris and see what he thought of this week's films.
Thanks, Sarah. Welcome everyone to Critics on Campus, where we review the latest movies in the Wilmington area. I'm your host, Chris Vickery, alongside my co-host for the day, Logan Spaller. Logan, the first film that we saw this week was Project X, a film about, and I quote from the movie, the most epic high school party ever. What were your thoughts on this one?
Well, this movie, I wasn't a big fan of it. It didn't really have a plot to it. The story was just about a bunch of high school kids having a party. It was quite rambunctious. I didn't see much point in it. The overall meaning of the movie was that it's okay to have a ginormous party with drugs at your house. I mean, I didn't understand the whole purpose of the film.
Yeah, and it was It was a music video, it was a commercial, it was an MTV show, but it was not a movie.
No.
It did not do anything with a story or anything like that, and it was pure voyeurism in a lot of ways. Like, it was just a lot of shots of people partying and being crazy, and it was pretty painful to sit through the entire time. I mean, I watched Twilight Breaking Dawn, or whichever Twilight it was a while back, and I think I enjoyed that more than I enjoyed this. So this movie was impressive merely in how bad it was and how well it was able to just shatter all my expectations of how bad Hollywood could do. And it also plays on the found footage trend that's been going lately, because they're much cheaper to produce and they have a much wider profit margin. And it didn't do anything for the movie at all. Overall, very disappointing. What would you give this one out of 5 stars?
I would have to give this one a 1.
If I could give it less, I would, but I've got to give this one a 1. But the second movie that we saw was Act of Valor, the movie starring real U.S. Navy SEALs, and it's about them preventing a terrorist threat on American soil. What did you think of this one?
I was actually very impressed with this movie. I felt that it had a lot of meaning behind it. It was very impactful. It impacted me quite a bit. If my friends were with me and they wanted to cry throughout the whole movie, it was a very great movie. I enjoyed it quite a bit.
Yeah, it was really impressive because the marketing of the film was very much geared toward the fact that it was starring real U.S. Navy SEALs. But that part was kind of the backdrop. The film was done so well, the story was done so well that really just carried itself. There are a lot of aspects of the film that harken back to like late 40s Italian cinema, early 20s Russian cinema. A lot of really impressive filmmaking aspects that were really enjoyable to the viewer, and some great visual metaphors that just made it for a really powerful viewing experience, on top of just being a really interesting story and a good action movie. But out of 5 stars, what would you give this one?
I have to give this one a 4-star. I really enjoyed it quite a bit.
I would also have to give it 4 stars. It really exceeded my expectations in a lot of ways. But that's all for this week's reviews. This segment was brought to you by Carmike Cinemas. Stay tuned next time for more reviews of the latest movies coming to the big screen. Once again, I'm your host, Chris Vickery, alongside Logan Spaller. See you next time.
As swimsuit season soars around the corner, students are working to get back into shape. In the midst of National Body Awareness Week, Teal TV takes a closer look into exactly what body consciousness means to UNCW students and professors.
Whether it's bulking up or slimming down for swimsuit season, everyone's a little body conscious.
So, you know, if you're a guy, you want to have your abs popping out and all your muscles toned, but whereas if you're a female, you know, you're looking more for the thinness.
Does UNCW's coastal location play into this pressure?
We definitely see it in the rec center. People always coming in, working on pieces of their body, making sure pieces of their body look good, rather than thinking about their body as a whole functioning unit.
It seems like everyone is tan, and everyone is working out, and everyone is so focused on what they look like.
Come to Wilmington, it seems as though the focus is not so much as overall wellness as much as the body image itself and the body shape.
But the beach can also play a positive role in our health.
We're just like an active community here at Wilmington, and it's promoted to have a healthy body image.
Still, spring is here, and the topic of body image remains on everyone's mind.
We are so overwhelmed with images, and all these things are in front of our face, and so we feel like we have to look a certain way because everyone else, everyone else looks that way.
Or maybe it's always been floating around our subconscious.
So we get told what body image is, and then once we're told what body image is, then we get told what's good and what's bad.
Last week was National Eating Disorder and Body Image Awareness Week. Health Promotion and Seahawk Fitness teamed up to bring awareness to the forefront.
We have a fantasy, I think, of stepping in on white horses and rescuing people. I'm a rescuer. I'm one of those people. I like to rescue animals and people and stuff. And sometimes you can't do that.
Weeks like these are important because they lead us in the right direction.
We as individual and adults, and the students are adults, have to take responsibility for themselves.
We need to make sure that we're promoting a healthy lifestyle and a healthy body image and a positive body image overall.
Every Seahawk is beautiful, and we just can't forget that.
you've got something that no one else does. And that's what makes you beautiful.
I'm Carolyn Keith, Seahawks Central News, TLTV.
Let's check up with Laurel Servicki for this weekend's forecast and activities update. Laurel.
Hi Seahawks, let's go ahead and look at the weather for this weekend. For Friday, you can expect isolated thunderstorms with a high of 74 and a low of 52. For Saturday, it's going to get a little bit chillier with a partly cloudy skies, a high 58 and a low of 53. And for Sunday, we're still going to have cloudy skies, mostly cloudy, with a high of 66 and a low of 46. If you're going someplace sunny, don't forget sunscreen and have a wonderful spring break, Seahawks. Back to you, Janae and Sarah.
Thanks, Laurel. That's all for this episode of Seahawks Central News. Be sure to stop by tilttv.org to catch each episode. Until next time, I'm Janae Randall.
And I'm Sarah Lively saying, so long, Seahawks.
Hey!